Good evening, Turks and Caicos. Good evening to all of you from your homes, wherever you are. Welcome to another edition of This Is What's Up 2.0. If you're watching on our live feed, I would encourage you to share the link. Let your friends and family know that we are back again with another episode of This Is What's Up 2.0. As you know, I am Jamaica Williams. I am the Public Relations Officer for the Progressive National Party, but I'm also the appointed member for the government. This evening, we're going to have a very interesting conversations with two young people here from the Progressive National Party. We have Mr. Genario Howell, who is the president of the Young Nationals, and Ms. Royal Robinson, who is a Young National. Now, I am still relatively young myself, and I'm so happy that they chose me to have this conversation with these young people here today. I was once a former, I think I'm too old to be a Young National now, but I was once a Young National, and I'm so excited that my children, I have two of my children who are now enrolled to be Young Nationals, so that's what it's about. And we're excited that this month we're going to have our, as you know, the country's eyes are going to be on us next weekend, as we have our national convention. And on the Friday is the kickoff. We're going to have the banquet and the pinning exercise for the Young Nationals. So what better way to kick off by having these two young people here with us to let us know exactly how is that going to happen, and what are we going to expect from that event. So I'm going to give both of you an opportunity to introduce yourself, Mr. Howell.
Yes. My name is Genario Howell, the current president of the Young Nationals for PNP. Just happy to be here. Thank you, Ms. Jamaica. Definitely, you guys want to come out to what we're doing on the 23rd. We're really trying to showcase what the Young Nationals is. We are part of the party. They say Young Nationals. We are the young part of the party. We want to bring our young perspective. Also, we want to share to the young people what the PNP party is doing, what they have been doing. The show, another show, the on the 23rd, the banquet. Yes, the banquet. It's really just that first thing that we're doing to showcase that we are ready. We are gonna be a force to be reckoned with out here. We know that the party race is about to go on, and elections are upcoming and everything, and we want to have our young voice be heard, right, and have a great effect on the outcome.
Great. Well, I should have started by one, asking you to accept our apologies for the late start. We had a little bit of technical problems, and also we advertised that the Honorable Akira would join us this evening, but she had an emergency, and she's not able to be with us here this evening. So, Ms. Royal, can you?
Hi, my name is Roynell Robinson.
Roynell.
I'm also a member of the Young Nationals. I am the treasurer on the board for the club as well. And I just think that it is a great opportunity to be involved in the party, the politics, and just the community overall.
Great. Well, I had always had an interest in politics from a very young age, and and this day and time, it's so important for young people to get involved. So I'm just happy to see that we do have a youth arm of the party who's been very active. I know in the year 2002 or 2003, the Young Nationals, we really carried the party's message in that time. Right. And we want to make sure that is, that there's always a youth voice, so that, that we touch everyone. That we touch everyone. So the Honorable Kiros also was a former Young National, and so there's progress. Being a Young National, you move up in the ranks of the party, and if you're interested in frontline politics, there's also that opportunity for you. So we want to make sure that there's always a seat at the table for the Young Nationals. So now the pinning exercise. Tell us a little bit about what we're to expect with the pinning exercise. What is that all about? You don't have to say who the persons are going to be pinned, because we want you, Turks and Caicos, all of you. Their tickets are out on sale. I'm going to share some details about where you can purchase your tickets from. But there are tickets out. It's for $100, and it's going to be at the distillery, the distillery house. Yes. So it's going to be at the distillery. And we've been advertising some of that. If you look on the party's Facebook page, you will see details of that. So we want you to come out. We do have some speakers lined up. The advertisement for those speakers who are going to be speaking that evening is going to be advertised. So we're going to have a fun-filled convention weekend, full convention weekend, starting off with the Youth Arm of the Party. So tell us about what can we expect with the whole pinning exercise.
Well, you can expect a great night, I'd say that. But we're having a banquet and a pinning ceremony, which means that our Young Nationals group will be basically unveiled to the Turks and Caicos Islands, which will be pinned, which we have our beautiful pins to showcase to everybody. We'll be pinned, so everywhere we can be recognized as PNP Young Nationals. This is really an opportunity for us to showcase ourselves and for us to really start the race. We're still a foundation group. We're still growing, right? Because we are relatively new. But I think this is a great time for the wider Turks and Caicos to see that, the young people are serious about this.
Right.
And that we actually want to take a part in politics and actually want to be the next wave to come up. Because obviously, like we know, politics, parties used to have successions. You have people coming up and everything. And we want to be the ones that can be called upon. And the country can see that, we have started from the root. And we can grow and be the ones we call upon to do this.
Agreed. But I really love the theme.
Yes.
It's a big topic, a big conversation. But I would just like to hear from both of you, what are your perspectives on the theme? So the theme for the event is the audacity to grow. So Ms. Roy, now, what do you think about the theme, and what does that mean to you?
I think the theme is perfect, and it really resonates with me because, in your day-to-day life, so much is going on.
Right.
You don't really, it's hard to kind of keep up with the politics. And when the opportunity came for me to join, I was like, you know what? I want to know what's going on. I want to be a part of what's going on. And this is a perfect way for me to do that.
Right.
So I think having the audacity to grow is having the audacity to say yes to opportunities, to say, yes to new things, whether it's politics or anything else going on in your life.
Right. What do you think about the topic?
Well, yes, I look at it from a few different areas. Is almost as why, as young people, do we have the audacity to grow? Why don't we want to? As you know, it's our young population now. They don't want to stay. We don't want to stay within the same realms as everything that we're doing before. We want to grow. We want to do more. We want to travel more. We want to. We don't want to just be. I want to say, let's just be front line. We want to own, what I mean? We want to own the businesses. We want to be the entrepreneurs. We want to be the one pushing the new ideas. Why do we have the audacity to grow, to be better, right? And that's what I think. I think that's a fitting theme for all young people, for everyone, really, because we as a country, the country is growing, and it can outgrow us.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want that to happen. We need to grow with our country. We need to be almost go before our country, right? So that we are not the ones left behind. So we need to have that audacity to grow.
Yeah, I like that.
It's going to happen anyway, right?
I like that. So, so what are some of the things? Outside of the event that is scheduled for next week Friday, what are some of the things that the country can expect from the Young National as we move into this next election phase?
Well, as we move into, you can expect the Young Nationals to really touch the people. We have a lot of things planning and in store. We're looking at doing a lot more town hall meetings, specifically geared towards those 18 to 35, because I feel like a lot of people our age feel like their voices aren't being heard to those who are either in power or those who make the decisions. So we want to be that conduit for them, right, to pass on their concerns. And I think that will help the party a lot, because then the party is able to know what to either to campaign on or what they should push forward going forward.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, we put in, like even when we had the manifesto, we put in a lot of things, things that we think are great for the country. And it may be great for the country, but you mix over your young people and what they actually want and need for them to have the audacity to grow. Right? So that's that. So that's part of what we were looking forward to doing. Also within ourselves, training ourselves, we wanted to shadow ministers and actually learn politics, because that's another thing. A lot of people our age, we don't really know. It's really foreign land for us. And it seems like and so we really want to be able to us learn and also us teach. Right. So then we also getting others others to be interested in the party, you know what I mean, interested in joining up, because a lot of young people don't know that they could join the party, you know what I mean, they could be a full member of the party and actually have things to say within the party and you know, within the politics of Turks and Caicos on a whole. So that's really our thing. We really just want to push really the PNP agenda to our people,
Right.
you know, because it's not getting there. I feel so. It's really not. So we could be that conduit.
Okay, great. Well, one of the things too that I noticed in this past election and elections before, right? And I think a lot of people this election here we saw an increase of the number of persons who are registered to vote.
Right.
And it could be that a lot of people were encouraged to register because of the stimulus.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
But we've always had some sort of an issue with getting younger people to be part of political parties. Some of the young persons, they just, you know, they have, I don't want to say they don't care, but they're not involved as much. And so why do you think that is, and how do you think, as a young national, you could use that party arm to tap into more of them, to encourage them that, you know, to be a part of what's going on, is that, you know, registering to vote and just getting involved with you know, but just politics and with the Progressive National Party, because we of course want to encourage people to have to continue to grow with the party. So what do you think is some of the reasons why younger persons aren't interested in registering to vote, one, and two, how could the young nationals tap into that to bring more persons forward?
I feel like young people don't feel like their voices are being heard. Right? And it's like Genario said, we see all these policies passing, and the first thing that's coming out is how does this affect me personally? And I feel like a lot of young people have like this doom and gloom about the future, and I think that this club can really be the gateway into understanding not only the system that you're in, but the bills that are being passed and how it genuinely affects you, because there's so many, you know, rhetoric behind certain things to make things look negative or to make things look like they're not being helpful, but it really is if you really take the time out to look it out. So I feel like the young nationals can take the time we can connect, because we're all the same age, one, to simplify these bills and these laws so that everyone across the board can understand it.
Right.
And then, like I said, just to be like that gateway into the party, into understanding politics, and eventually, you know, really feeling like your voice is being heard and your opinion matters.
Okay. Genario, you want to add?
Well, that's the real answer, because you know, I can say even for myself, when I was in my early 20s or whatever, I didn't think that anything I had to say towards, say, the political arena would really matter. You know what I mean? Like what I would need really matter, because it feels like, okay, you know, it's just to a certain set, like you have to reach a certain level for your voice, right? And you know, that's one of the issues. Yes, you know, they do things with education and other things like that. And yes, you may think, you say, okay, I think I know what they want, or I think I know what they need. But unless you have unless you have it straight from the horse's mouth, unless you actually go and have the conversations and understand that this is what they need, this is what they're looking for in the country, this is what they, you know, this would will help them to look at the party in a certain type of way. Like, yes, you guys are pushing for me, right? You guys are pushing for me and for the future, really. You know, that's what it is. People don't feel that connection, and that's what we can do. Because the truth is, all of us in this group are new to this, right? And you know, all of us came in because we wanted to learn. You know, we wanted to be the change. We wanted to say, okay, let's see if our voice would be heard, and less. And so far, you know what I mean? So I can say, you know, you guys have welcomed us and everything. And I feel like if we could able to share that same welcome you gave to us to the wider young people, they would also feel the same way.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad that we're getting somewhere and we're touching some people. And like I said, I was a former young national too, and I for some reason, I've always had politics in my household, right? I grew up with my grandparents, and both of them were strong PNPs.
Okay.
So, and I can remember the days when we would have when when there would be elections, and we would have rallies. And if the PNP lose, you wake up and you meet your yard full of Pampers outside. I remember all of those things, and I remember my grandmother leaving her work to go travel around the islands and campaign with the party. And so it was always in my household.
Right.
But I didn't have anyone in my household who was in frontline politics. So I'm the first of. I'm the first from my household who was actually involved in politics. But it is always intriguing for me. And I got involved with the Young Nationals at the time. The Honorable Michael Mizik was the premier at the time, and that was a very exciting time.
Yes.
And I can surely say, and in that era, in that time, we really had a voice, and you really had an avenue where you could express your concern and all that stuff. So, it's. I like that that arm is present with the party, and it gives you the opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
So you're a Young National. You're the president. You even have a say in the vote.
Right.
So we're going to go to a vote for the leadership, and that is going to be on the Saturday. And if that isn't progress for young people, and I don't know what it is, but. The youth of the party. I mean, I have a teenager. I have 3 adult children that are sometimes very difficult to understand. And I think maybe one of them, she has some sort of have some interest in politics because they hear me talk about it all the time, right? So I guess that's what spiked their interest. Yes. So they're now involved with what's going on in the country first, and of course what's going on with the party. But I just want to know from both of you what really sparked your interest. I know you had mentioned something of it before, but what really sparked your interest to want to come out up front to be a part of the party? Because like I said, there are a lot of people younger persons who they would want to come out if they decide to come out, just put their X there for whoever they would want it to, but they don't want any attachment to any political party.
Right.
So what made you decide that the Progressive National Party was your party of choice? And that you wanted to get involved this much?
I think for me, it's just being the change that I wanted to see. I feel like we sit down and we complain and we say, we don't understand, and all this other stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing that. I'm tired of feeling hopeless about the country and hopeless about everything else that's going on. I need to take the initiative to be a part of something. And the opportunity came to me from Genario. And I was like, you know what? This is a time for me to really be at the forefront of everything that I've complained about or wanted to see. I can be that.
Right.
I don't have to sit down in the background and hope that someone else will do it.
Okay. So you think that maybe in the future you'll have some political ambition?
Who knows? Who knows?
You're right.
Who knows?
That's pretty cool. Well, for me, I would say I always wanted to see great for the country. You understand? The country did a lot for me, so it's only right that I give back to the country in a lot of ways. I've been doing a lot of give backs and stuff like that for years, but I felt like I know that the political arena and being in politics and all that is really changes the country. You know what I mean? Because you put in legislation and you can really steer the country in a different direction.
Right.
And to answer your point directly, the PNP thing came in was because even in my young mind, the most change I've ever seen in this country has been under PNP administration by far. It's not even close. When I went to school, when I had a scholarship to go to British Collegiate, how did I get that? PNP administration. You know what I mean? I remember even in school, that there was the times when the biggest sports days and people just seemed to be getting opportunities left and right that weren't available before. It just seemed like the playing field was level.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it happened underneath the PNP party. So I've always been watching that. Yes, I had PNP people in my household, but I also had other people in my household. But I was able to look at it, step back and look at it and say, who has really changed this country, right? In my view, for the better. Especially for young people, because everybody I know back in, when I was going to school, a lot of people had opportunities. If you use that opportunity, that's on you.
Yeah.
right? But everyone had at least an opportunity
Yeah.
to do something,
Right.
you know. And you can see it now because now I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm seeing more Turks and Caicos Islanders, young Turks and Caicos Islanders, become deputy PS and
Yes,
leaders in their
absolutely.
areas and stuff like that. And that's because of that time. You know what I mean? At this moment now, because they were able to get education then,
Exactly.
we're able to see it now.
Yeah. Right
know?
now we have the community college is free now.
Exactly, and that's another thing. Community college is free, you know. So you look at things like that and under which administration happened, and it's to me it's a no-brainer,
Yeah.
straightforward.
Yeah.
You know. Now the other thing about the young nationals, like I said, I always want to give back to the country. I always want the country to be a better place. I feel like Turks Island is the greatest country in the world, not even close.
Yeah, I tell you.
You know, like I said, I lived in the UK, travel a lot, but being in those other places make me realize how great Turks and Caicos is.
Of course, absolutely. I know you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of what you're saying is resonating with me.
No, it is real. So it only caused me to have a greater love for my country, right? So that means I just want to see great. So if I want to see great and I see the party that's doing great, what's the only plausible choice?
Yeah.
When the opportunity presented itself, hey, you know, might as well, you know, because it's the right marriage, you know.
Well, I agree with that, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of what you said resonated with me because I grew up in an era too. I grew up in South Caicos, but I grew up in an era where it was like you'd see the people on TV going to college. It wasn't us.
Yeah.
So under the PNP, we had that dream, and it became a reality. So I'm a product of that as well. So a lot of what you're saying resonates with me. I too got a scholarship and I went abroad and studied. And while I was away studying, it's like, oh my God, I missed the beach.
Yeah.
I miss fried fish.
Hey.
Like, you know, so there's no other place that I will ever consider living other than Turks and Caicos. But I really like that. A lot of what you said, both of you, really resonated with me. So let's go back to a little bit about what can we expect for the Friday night, because we're encouraging everyone who wants to be involved. We're trying to change up things a little bit more, where we so the whole lineup, of what to expect that evening. Like I said, we're going to have some speakers. Some of them are going to be very surprising.
Yes.
Surprising to Turks and Caicos, but we're going to have some speakers for that evening. And we're going to just have, other people involved in different areas, but we want to showcase the youth that night to kick off the Friday of the convention. The Saturday, of course, is the business sessions, the early morning sessions where we'll have the leadership race. And then the evening, we're going to have a social, the Saturday evening, and then on Sunday, we go to church at Pastor Bradley's church.
Right.
Pastor Bradley is Community Fellowship, Community Fellowship, so that will end the weekend on the Saturday. Yeah. But it's an exciting time. The Friday evening, where the bank, like I said, the tickets are $100, and we're going to be expecting some speakers as well from persons like the Honorable Akira. She was also a former young national, and I don't know if our premier was ever a young national. You think he's a young national now? Yeah, he really does. But it should be a fun-filled weekend. So I'm just encouraging, all of you who are watching, to just come out to purchase your tickets so that you can hear from us. Be involved in what's happening. If you are on the live still, I'm monitoring the feed. So if you have any questions, you can drop it in there, and I will ask if you have, or try to answer it myself, or ask both of my guests here. To answer that question, so you can drop your comments in if you would like to. So let's move on, Raynell. So you're the treasurer of the Young Nationals. How often do you meet? How is registration going? Are you seeing more new persons getting involved with the Young Nationals? How is that going so far?
It's going pretty well so far. So we meet every Friday.
Okay, and what's the current membership right now?
The current membership right now, where are we at?
Yeah, we're somewhere around, say, 15.
Yeah.
But obviously, you have your core group and you have people who are in it and things like that.
Okay.
But like just jump off what she's saying. We spend a lot of time trying to build our foundation, because we really did start from scratch. Again, we really are building upon something new,
Right.
and a lot of us haven't been a part of something like this before. So it's still a learning curve. But like you say, build a good foundation. Only thing left to do is go up. So that's what we're doing right now.
Okay. So you meet every.
So we meet every other Friday
Okay.
of the month. Like he said, we're about 15 members strong right now. And each meeting just consists of us planning what we're going to do for that month or the year in general. And what the party is doing as well, and where they need us to be.
Okay, well, I noticed you have a Facebook page, so
Yeah.
So are you getting a little bit more traction with the Facebook page? 'Cause I think at one point what we need to do is try to sync it with each other. So that,
Yes. So that is one of the things that we need to do. To push a bit more of the party's agenda. We try and push everything that we get through the party to make sure that it gets to our audience as well. But there's always room to grow. There's always room to do better. You get me? And that's part of why this banquet and pinning ceremony is so important, because it stamps almost like a beginning of the race, right? So everything we was doing so far, like the planning and everything, okay, now it builds up to this, and now we're doing after this Friday.
Okay, great. Okay, so again, I think there's a number. I'm gonna have to get that to share it, because there's a number where persons can contact to get the tickets for the event.
Yes.
But we really want to push that event. That should be a great evening. It's a banquet, so it's formal. I think the color is black and gold.
Yes.
So it's formal pinning exercise. So if any one of you are interested, we can also get you can get in contact with me. Send me a message on social media, and we can surely get those tickets out from you. I'm going to monitor the feed in a little bit to see if there are any questions or comments from anyone who may have any questions for both of you. But Genario, you became the president of the Young National, and which year was that? Did you become?
No, that was
president?
last year.
That was last year.
It was last year. Yes, it was last year.
So there was an elections for you to
Yes.
get the.
Yes. So I came on, like I said, I came on as the vice president, and the president at that time, I think he wasn't able to continue for a lot of different reasons, and they had a vote off in which they said they wanted me to pursue being the president. So I accepted that, and since then, like I said, we've been just trying to build this foundation, because everybody, like Ronell said, I called her, said, you're interested in this, everything. But everybody, now we need to get to know everyone, make sure that we're a solid unit, that when we step out, we step out correct.
Right, of course.
Right? Because if we had stepped out before a time, people could see the cracks.
Yeah,
you don't want that, right?
Absolutely. So you were appointed or elected the same time as he was.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
And
around the same time.
I don't remember who the former chairman was.
The former, the
Chair of the Young Nationals.
It's Trigo.
Okay, Trigo. Yeah. That's Trigo. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know he's still a part of the Young Nationals.
Yes. He still is a part.
He's
Yeah,
part of the Young
he still
Nationals.
is a part. Yeah.
Okay, and who was the treasurer?
No, it was a treasurer. No, I think Ronell was the first treasurer.
Oh, no, you were the very first treasurer.
Very first one.
Okay, so you've been here longer than he was.
No, it wasn't that. The way, because you gotta remember the way it started. I guess it was a smaller group, right? And then they reached out to me to be in the group, because I've been in a lot of voluntary groups before, and the different groups giving back. So they reached out to me, and also they know that I do have affinity for the party. I wasn't registered and everything, but I always had affinity for the party. So they reached out to me for it, and I said okay. And since then, that's when we really took off and said, okay, we're going to actually do this. Because before, it was really kind of a thought, something that's, okay, we're going to build this and figure this out. And then we kind of said, okay, now we're going to do this, and we're going to actually be a part of the party, right? So it really, like I said, there's all of this is still new, right? Before, I don't remember who was in the Young Nationals before the last time they ran, but all the people who are in it now, all of us are new. right? And I think that does show that there are people out there, young people out there who are interested in it. Right?
Okay.
New young people out there who are interested in it. So this ceremony, this parent ceremony, I think is going to push it even further.
Right.
So all young people out there, you know, who want something to do on a Friday night, it's a nice night. You come out, enjoy yourself, and you know,
They have live
join us as
entertainment.
well. We got
Live entertainment, yes.
DJs, we got singers, we have some awesome speakers. You know, you're gonna feel great. You know, what I mean, sometimes you need that little bit of motivation.
Okay.
And need to know that audacity to grow.
Yes. All right. Great. So other than the planning of this banquet for next weekend, what are some of the things that we can expect to help the party as we move into the election cycle? What can we expect from the Young Nationals to assist us with
you can
moving forward?
expect a greater social media presence.
Okay.
Far. You know, all types of media. You can expect us to be reaching out to more young people, because we have spoken to different faculties and areas to see how we could reach out to young people, get them in the schools or reach out to them in the colleges, you know, and actually just share what the party's doing. Also, Roynell spoke about it earlier, and we spoke to the chairman Knowles about this. We one of our first initiatives is to really break down a lot of the policies that the party has been doing.
Okay.
Because what we've realized, and I know this, is a lot of the things the party's been doing, they do it and it's great, but people don't understand it.
Right.
You know, and for whatever reason, you know, people see things right away. They won't take the time and actually go read up, figure out what it's really about. You know, so anything that scrutinizes it or criticizes it, you just say, oh yeah, that's how it is, without fully understanding what it is. So one of the things we want to take on, and we spoke about this at our last meeting, is all of the policies, finally break it down into layman's terms, into the most simplest way possible, that people know this is what it is, this is what it's meant to do, this is how to sign up for it, this is how to do this. Because at the end of the day, like I said, there's a lot of things out there, even like the housing initiative and all that, you know, the repairs and all that. A lot of people don't know, you know, as much as they've had different talks on it. I remember they had a big showcase at Braden Hall about it. There's a lot of people who still don't know that it's out there, you know, and how to sign up and everything. So that's one of the things that we want to really push what the party has been up to and break it down in layman's terms. So we're working on that right now.
I really like that idea, because you know, a lot of times, you know, being in Parliament, being a parliamentarian, a lot of times we would pass laws, and it's just somebody who just doesn't understand it. They go on social media and they start this narrative, and then we end up all the way left.
I think it's
so I really like that idea that you can break it down so that people can understand. But one of the things I want to encourage people as well is to listen to the Parliament. Listen to the Parliament so that you know what's happening firsthand for yourself, rather than listening to someone else give you a different version of what actually the bill is all about. So that's one of the things, and I thought about that for a while as to how can we get people to listen more to our Parliament. But I really like the idea that you guys are coming up with to try to break it down in a simpler form. I remember one point I had saw someone on social media, I don't remember his name right now, it slips me, but he actually had a cartoon, of breaking down the bills and why this is that way, and how government works and whatnot. I thought that was so cool. So I love that initiative for you to get involved in that. Let me ask you, do you think that with the currently, do you think that there is a greater involvement from this group for the Young Nationals to be more involved and to get their voices out there? Do you think that that's the case now?
So what do you mean? Do you think that is the case?
Do you think that the government is giving you an avenue to hear your voice, to listen to you, to be a part of some of the legislation that we put out there? Is there an avenue for you? Well, I know as the because you're on the NEC, both of us sit on NEC. So there is an arm for you to be involved in that vein. But if you want to elaborate more on any of that, then you're free to do so.
Okay. Yes. I think with the Young Nationals, it does give us more of a voice, because the truth is we have a direct connection to everyone who's in the party. We have a direct connection to all of the MPs and all of those people who actually make those decisions. Now, that's not something that everyone has, right? So we already have that advantage, and that's an advantage to become a young national, as young people out there. It allows you to have that voice. And since we've had meetings, almost every meeting we've had, just about this, an MP has came to it. You know what I mean? We've had the Honorable E.J. Saunders. We've had Honorable Knowles has been there. Honorable Randy Howell has been there. You know, so we've had, you know, a lot of traction with the different MPs, and a lot of the conversations have been very fruitful. Very fruitful. It's taught us a lot, and it taught me a lot about government structure and everything. And you know, a lot of people think that, okay, if I say that this is going to happen, or I got to say that happened and that happens. They don't understand that there's a process that it has to go through, and things have to go to the House and different things like that. And you know, we have, as a group, we have been able to get that knowledge from the different MPs and people in the party. So I do think that they are giving us a voice, and they have been listening and going forward with a lot of what we've brought to them.
Okay, so how is there any plans for the Young Nationals to tap into the other islands? Because I know predominantly most of the Young Nationals are from Provo. So what about tapping into North Caicos? Well, Drico is from North Caicos.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And he lives in North Caicos. Does he? No.
I don't think not anymore.
Right. But what avenues do you have available for persons to tap into the other islands, like South Caicos, Grantor? How do you get involved with those persons over there to reach out to them so that they can be a part of the Young Nationals?
Well, that is in our plans. I feel like the idea is first we have to, at Congress, you'll see we've been making a motion where it's going to be 18 to 35 instead of the 16 to 30, right? Because we want to target those who are voters, and we also want to target those who, when we have these events and everything, that it's still among our age group. You know, so that's the thing. It's not to stray away from the 16-year-olds or anything, but we want them to aspire to join it, right? So that's one of the ideas. Is obviously we go into the schools, and also we it's just us being a presence over in the other islands. For example, I'm from North Caicos, so when I go over there, I always speak about Young Nationals, and people are joining. People have been interested in doing that. So as part of it is now just establishing the Young Nationals over there, or at least a subsect of Young Nationals over there. And once we start in Norton, then we'll continue over to the other islands.
Okay.
It's just a matter of going over there, touching the ground, and letting people know, say, hey, we do have a voice, and this is a way your voice can be heard directly.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool for us to do like an island tour.
Yes.
The Young Nationals. Maybe you could set up groups ahead of time so that you can get involved. Maybe some of the persons with put forth a fit form to reach out to some of those groups, have them organized before you get there, so that you can do like a tour. I mean, I'm willing to help, but I like to still think that I'm a young national.
That is awesome. Now you Young National for life. Young National for life. That's what I say.
Yes, I'm right.
Before you say, you're a great inspiration for that.
Thank you.
Because you are
wow.
and look at you with what you've been able to do with that. So those out there who think Young Nationals aren't it, look at Miss Jamaica here. She is a product of Young Nationals.
Yes, thank you so much for that.
I decided to join you.
Oh, wow.
The greatness here.
Great. So, I was wondering, you were going to say something you could add to that, no?
No, like Genario said, it's something that the club is definitely trying to put together, and that we've definitely spoke about. We don't want the other islands to feel excluded, and I feel like everything is always centered in Provo, so we are definitely trying to make the move into the other islands.
Right. Well, I think the invitation is there for everyone who wants to be involved, to get involved. But with your, I know you're still trying to do a little bit more, but maybe I should use the word rebranding.
Yes.
But once you get the information out there on social media, that's a good way of reaching out to people, a good free way of reaching out to people. Once you get that information out there, you can give them, the details as to how to get more involved. And but it'll be good to see that you have persons from all the other islands to link up and be a part. I mean, it's probably going to be difficult to get you guys to all meet at one central space as often as you do, but we have all these new things, Zoom and whatever else, that we can stay in contact with each other. But it'll be nice to see that we can have a cross section of everyone from around the islands to be a part of the Young Nationals, and I like the idea of breaking down the legislation. That to me, That to me is really good. But on Friday, back to Friday again, I don't want to stray away too much from that because next week Friday is the event here in Provo. We're going to have live entertainment. I believe Q-Band Links is the band that we have scheduled to perform, as well as Miss Tess Charles. She's scheduled as well. So we're going to have the live entertainment. We're going to have the speakers. I mentioned for you who just tuned in, we're going to we have the avatar. We have the flyer in circulation already throughout the chats and on the PNP Facebook page, so you can go on. I believe there's a number as well you can make contact to get your tickets. So the event is scheduled for Friday of next week. One of the things that we're trying to do is to get new faces involved, and eventually have them transition over to signing up to being Young Nationals. And if you are out there listening to us, you can also send us a message and see how you can get involved. But the avenues are available for you to be involved. And you know, we've been Young Nationals. I believe it came around in 02, 03, somewhere around there. I was first involved around that time, and so we really do give you an arm to progress with the party. There's a lot going on. We have a lot going on with the country on side of it. But both of you, I can bore you all about those conversations. But I just wanted to touch with the whole education part of it, because you know we have free education. We both spoke about the opportunity you had as a young person to be afforded to get a scholarship. I was once, I had the same opportunity. I don't know if you've had.
My parents paid out of pocket.
Oh, good for you. That's good still, right? That's good still. But you know, I think with the community college being free, that is also an avenue for the Young Nationals to get that message out there, encourage people to go back to school, because a lot of our, I mean, my son graduated and it was like there was no interest to go back to school. But we're in the household and we encourage him every day that this is something you don't want to do, you have to do.
Right.
So we would want you to also push that message out there to younger people to get educated, because one of the things that's happening, well, it's been happening for some time now, is that everywhere you go, you're going to have to get that piece of paper.
Yes.
You're going to have to get that piece of paper you have to qualify yourself in order to be competitive. Things are changing every day, and we don't want to leave our people behind.
And just to piggyback off what you said, the thing is now, I don't want to say it like this, but everyone has a bachelor's degree. You know,
that's true.
It's standard. Like when I was living in the UK, you know, it's standard that the person who's working at Tesco has a bachelor's degree in something. Everyone the school is so much easier to get into now, right? That you need to show yourself above the others, right? And the fact that the community college is free is an opportunity that we should be jumping on.
Of course,
jumping on, because the truth is, when I did A levels at the collegiate before I went away, but even the university I went to, I knew people who came after me, who came from the community college. So it's not like the community college, you can't go there and it is an avenue to go to, universities, accredited universities and other things. So I feel like that's something we really need to jump on, because we're unique in that, I think, in this region, aren't we?
There we are. Yeah, we are very unique in that region.
We can go to school and literally get a degree for free. You know, be able to advance ourselves.
Full scholarships. And I remember even when I had my scholarship, and I would tell some of my friends back in college, I even get money for books and rent and what. And what country are you from now?
Exactly. It's amazing. But also, I think, and that's another thing. We don't want to take this for granted. We really don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yes, we're in Turks and Caicos, and yes, it's now. But I think we all of us need to jump on it now, while it's there, while it's available. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like you were saying, we have a lot of younger persons now becoming deputy PSs.
Yes.
Oh, that's so good for me to see in the public service that we have those promotions going on in the service. And I can admit, because I'm not going to be hypocritical about this, but I can admit to get into service is difficult.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I've always been talking about and advocating for, because not that it should be very easy, right? Yeah. Because there's something that has to qualify you to enter the service.
Right.
But if there's an application that's submitted, at least respond to my application.
Right. I get
At least respond to my application. So I know it's not very easy to get into service, but it's still, it's still great to see the accomplishments we've been able to make as a country and as younger people to have those top positions in government. Because at one time that was unheard of.
It wasn't.
And that was unheard of. So, and one of the things that I do personally, anytime I see whomever as a Turks and Caicos Islander, once they got a promotion or got a new job or whatnot, I share that because I'm just so proud that we were able to make that big accomplishment.
Right.
But it's great to see, and we're doing that in the service, the government service. It encourages people in the private sector that that Turks and Caicos, you have to give our people the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So once we can't be the offenders.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to be the ones who are going to set the policies, give our people the opportunity when they come home. Because let's face it, we still have a great amount of people who are college educated and they're underemployed.
Very true.
And they're underemployed, or sometimes they're not just employed at all because they're not given that equal opportunity.
Yes.
So, but there's no excuse to go out there and get a degree. It's free, it's available, and we just want to encourage that. So I'm going to give you another project as a Young Nationals to get out there and sell that to the younger people to get involved.
Yes.
We need, especially our young men, we need them to put these guns down, get a degree, do something, change your life. We have access to even to the UK. You can go abroad and do something different, but come home.
Right.
And that's another thing too. We need people to come home.
I think that's something that really needs to get pushed about coming home. Because I wouldn't say we're far as brain drain, we're nowhere close to that. But a lot of people are opting to stay a little bit longer than regular. Like normally you go there, you stay for 1, 2, 3 years because they say you need to get some experience. Because even in my field, they say if you just here, you only get island experience. You know what I mean? But the goal should be to come home and add to your country.
Right, of course.
Because if we don't, someone else will.
Of course, yeah.
And all that does is pushes us out. Because we can't, if we over there building up someone else's country, what's happening to ours, right? So I think that's also something that needs to get pushed, at least for people to come back home and to help in building up this place, because the place is building.
Yeah.
It's growing at
a
crazy rate.
A lot's happening.
And as it grows at a crazy rate, that means more opportunities are opening up. Opportunities open up every day. If we don't have the people here to fill these opportunities, you know what I mean? Yes, there's the thing you said about, the applying and not answering. Right? That does happen. I've seen it happen to quite a few people. But we also need people who are qualified and everything to come here so that when the opportunities arise, we have a pool to dig from, right? Instead of having to, just off the bat, jump and get someone else when we could get somebody who's been probably educated by the government or who's from here who can add to this country, to take up that position.
All right. Well. You're going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that, but like what Genario just said, I remember when I was living abroad, it was a lot of, don't come back home. There's nothing to come back home to. But I think it's a reflection of what the PNP party has accomplished through their years. Now people are encouraging persons to come home because of the amount of opportunities that are available.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I think too. There's, I have a daughter. She lives in the UK, right? And she's studying over there as well as working.
Right.
And I encourage her on a daily. When you finish, you come home.
right.
So I think that's a part of what we have to do as parents, to encourage our children as well to come home and not preach this notion that there's nothing to come home to.
Yes,
right?
yes, I agree with that.
So that's a part of it. We have to encourage them to come home. And I understand people leave for various reasons. There are some people who just want to have the city life.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
But
but still, we just have to get our people, especially those that we've invested in.
Right.
We've paid for their scholarships. We've paid for for them to be living abroad and whatnot, and it's only right that you come home to your country.
Yeah.
But a part of I lost my thought for a minute. But encouraging them to come home, and the government. I know here recently we've been opening up they opened one in the Bahamas, the diaspora office in the Bahamas, and I think they're supposed to be opening one in Florida as well. and that is to encourage people to come home. And that in itself was a whole big conversation on social media and everywhere in social settings about, oh, well, they're just inviting the Bahamians to come home. They're our people. They're our people. And I know it's ultimately their decision whether they want to come or not, but we have to give our people the invitation to come home, right? Because who else do we want to build this country with?
Very true.
It's happening already.
I agree.
It's happening already. So I would prefer, even if you were born in Miami or the Bahamas and you live there, I would prefer that I can trace your lineage back to Turks and Caicos than for me to have someone else from another country to come and help and build our country.
I mean, the truth is, as well, as a lot of people had to go to those places. You know what I mean? Like, they had to go to Bahamas and South Florida or whatever to make amends for themselves and everything at the time when the country didn't have a lot. So if their family grew up and they had kids there and grew up, and that doesn't mean that they don't have any Tuskegee roots or anything like that.
Right.
You know, they still have the roots. They just had to make, at that time, they had to make a decision. The opportunity wasn't there. But the opportunity is here now.
Yep.
Right. The opportunity is here now, and then another thing too that that I think a lot of people are concerned about. Especially in the digital world, we're not, we still have a lot of catching up to do with other countries in terms of e-government. That is, well, I'm not going to comment on that, but I'm going to, whenever we have the ministers involved that day, we'll have a conversation. I'm sure we're going to have a conversation on that. But I think that is something too that a lot of people are, discouraged by, that you have to come here and you have to wait so long to get processes done and whatnot, and it is concerning. It is exhausting sometimes having to get things done, but we're still a relatively young country. Right?
We are.
And there are processes and policies and whatnot that we just have to put in place to get things as efficient as other countries. So I know that may be a deterrent for a lot of them, but the initial message is that we just have to come home because we cannot have Turks and Caicos be ran by everyone else besides us. So I'm happy that both of you decided to come home. I know I was not going to live anywhere else. But I think also the younger persons who are living abroad, maybe we can also do something more to reach out to them to help them with coming home. And still, there's a little bit of transitioning when you come back home as well.
There's a lot of transition.
There's a lot of transition when you come back home. I know I had to do a transition when I came back home too. So I know that's a lot to do about it. But anyway, we're getting ready to wrap up in a few minutes. So I just want to continue pushing the event for Friday. So next week, Friday to Sunday, it's our convention weekend, and I can tell both of you, the entire Turks and Caicos is going to be watching what's happening with the Progressive National Party during that weekend, particularly the Saturday. But on the Friday evening, we're going to have a banquet and pinning exercise for those of you who have just joined us. We're going to have a banquet and pinning exercise of the Young Nationals. We have some dynamic speakers. Some of those persons, you'll be surprised, not that they are speakers, but surprised that they're with the Progressive National Party. But we are we're just open. We would encourage you to be a part of the Young Nationals. This the headquarters is open. Not 24 hours. I think we're closed on Sundays, but the headquarters is usually open, so you can come in and find out information as to how you can join the Young Nationals, and you can meet up with both of these persons. There is the name of the Facebook page on, is it PNP Young Nationals?
Yes. It's PNP Young Nationals.
PNP Young Nationals. So PNP Young Nationals, you can send them a message on that to find out how you can be registered. And like I said, we're going to unveil the speakers for that evening. I believe by weekend we will have that. We'll have that down. So it's a nice dress-up evening with live entertainment for you to come out, and then we'll progress on for the rest of the weekend after we've had that banquet on Friday. Definitely. So I don't know if any of you would want to have any last wrap-up closing before we end this evening's show.
Well, Turks and Caicos, I just want to tell you guys, come out Friday. We're going to have a great time. Starts at 7 o'clock at the distillery. It's the banquet and pinning ceremony. We're unveiling some great young people to the Turks and Caicos Islands, and we're going to make a great change under PNP.
Yes, exactly. Anything from you? Anything from you? So,
blessings.
So I'm the host for this evening. I think one of the things we did. Well, I was the host for the last show that we had. I was the main host. I'm not doing that this time around because my focus now has shifted onto other things.
Right.
So I'm the host for this evening, and the show next week. This show is bi-weekly for now, and as time progresses, we'll decide to pick up and get some more speakers added. Not speakers, but. We'll have more regular shows, but for right now we're doing it bi-weekly. So I'm the host for this evening.
Okay.
The next show,
Yes.
Next 2 weeks will be another host and another topic. And of course, you guys who are viewing, you can keep following the Facebook page. We will have those ads out as to who will be here. I know a lot of you may have came on today and expected the Honorable Akira to be here with us, but like I said, she had an emergency and she couldn't be with us here today. So we just had some great conversations here with both the treasurer and the president of the Young Nationals, and it's always great to have that conversation with you. So Friday night, we just look out for that. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I don't want to mention who those speakers are, but we're going to share that. We're going to share that as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anything else before we close off?
I just want to say it's a pleasure. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have us here.
Right.
As a former young national, it's great to see that you were able to become from a young national to get to where you are now within the party and within the Turks and Caicos and everything.
Right.
So, it's just a pleasure of ours to be in the company of you.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
And yes, and we aspire to do the great things such as you have.
Oh, very good. Well,
thank you.
Well, it's a lot of hard work.
But it pays off, right?
It's a lot of hard work, and we still have a lot to do. But it was I think I made the right decision when I decided to not only join the party but to join the Young Nationals, and I believe Jamel was a young national. He's done 49, and Akira done hit 42. So Kyle is the baby of all of the MPs, and he's the current young national. All of us. Oh, Sean think he's a young national too, but he ain't
so?
young national.
But it says how you feel.
Yeah. So the age for young nationals, I think that's important for us to tell the people too.
Yeah, so
it's
18 to 35.
Yeah. To 35.
Yes.
Well, I've been out of that for a while now.
Yes, yeah, okay. That's what it is. Because we 35 is still young enough to still be with it,
right.
And we feel like 18 being the age that you can vote, you should be able to join.
Okay.
And
so what about someone if they're 17? We'd encourage them.
So if they're 17, we encourage you guys to be around us. You can come to the meetings and everything, and then aspire to join when you turn 18, right? So by the time you join, you're already ingratiated with everything that we're doing. Like I say, it's not that we're acting away from the 16 or 17-year-olds. It's that we want to have something to aspire to join as an 18-year-old, as a time when they can vote, and as a time when their voice can really be heard vocally and with the acts.
Right, of course. So I'd like just to tell Turks and Caicos that if you join the Young Nationals and you tap out at that age of 35, that doesn't mean that we'll throw you away, right?
No.
You'll still be a part because there's still other groups. We have the women's group. I don't think we have a men's group. I think they were talking about doing a men's group before, but it hasn't happened. But we have the women's group. We also have the activities committee. So when we're having activities to the party, we're also looking for volunteers to help out with those things. And then we have the political activities committee, where they're very active during the campaign phase. There are several committees within the party. So if you're not interested in frontline and you just want to be the best, because I was behind the scenes girl. Come to think of it, I was a behind the scenes girl. I don't know where this little voice came from. Well, I always had a voice, right? But I didn't know where this voice came last election to come forward and start a whole show. But I thought, I think we saw the opportunity where people were at home and locked down.
Right.
So we needed an avenue just to get our message out there. And that's where that came from. But I was always the behind the scenes girl.
Right.
I'd go get this and go do this and go do that. I was never, I was interested always in frontline politics, but I don't know. That wake up something. That last administration wake up some different beast in me.
All right. So do you like the front line now, though?
I do like the front
You like
line.
the front
I do
line.
like the front line. Like I said, I always, I was always interested in being in
Right.
frontline politics. And in 2012, that's when we had just came out of having the Constitution suspended. I had expressed an interest at that time to run in frontline politics.
Okay.
And I was interested in running in South Caicos at the time. And the Honorable Norman Saunders, he just wanted to have one more term before he retired.
Right.
So at one point, when we were having a convention, it was my name and his name on a ballot for primary elections, and I'm like, there is no way I'm going to challenge a goat like Norman Saunders. So take my name. So I was interested then, but I could say now from where I'm at. At the time, I was much younger, so I'm happy that I stayed. I wasn't, I was a little bit disappointed, but I wasn't discouraged to not be involved completely.
Right,
so I
right.
stayed in the background, and I did my work with the party, and I did my work with some of the MPs and whatnot, and they obviously knew what my interest was,
Right.
and then. It just came at a time where, for me to put my name in as the appointed member, at a time that I was not even expecting to put my name forward at the time.
Right.
So I just, stayed behind the scenes and did some work, and that's what it's about. Everyone can't be in frontline politics.
Right.
You don't have to always be in frontline politics to serve your country.
Very true.
But you can be behind the scenes. So I was always the behind the scenes girl until last election. Like I said, that I came out front, and I just, like you said, it was trying to be the change that I wanted to see, because I thought that there were so many things happening with the former administration, PDM, that I didn't like,
Right.
and I just felt like I just needed to have my voice out there to be heard, and I could tell you at the time we were in the opposition, and we were kind of quiet, right?
Yeah.
But I was that constant voice on social media, like licking them all the time.
Every time.
Respectfully, because I don't believe in going gutter,
Right.
calling
Right.
people outside of their
Right.
names and messing with people's children, because those things are off limits. to me.
Right.
But I would stick to the issues and just let people know what I thought about. And then the opportunity came where they needed a PR for the party. So I took that position. And that's where I work to progress myself and progress and move forward as to how I want to do that.
And you had the audacity to grow.
I had the audacity to grow. I like that. Yes.
Right there.
I had the audacity to grow. Wow. Right. Okay, so let's wrap up this session. Thanks to all of you who have stayed with us on the live feed, be in your homes or in your cars. Well, I hope you're in your cars watching this. I know the traffic is bad, but thanks for being with us here. We're going to have another show next week. We will advertise those names as to who those persons will be. But again, we want to encourage you for next week, Friday, the 23rd to the 25th is when we're going to have our national convention, and we want to encourage all of you on Friday, not on Friday, but before, to purchase your tickets to come out for the pinning and banquet ceremony for the Young Nationals. I'm going to be there dressed in my black and gold.
Okay.
And in my black and gold, and I'm going to be ready to experience everything that's PNP with the Young Nationals that evening. So thank you, Turks and Caicos, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week at our pinning ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you.